Matt Bernier here for RacingPicks.com, taking a look at three selections for Saturday, September the 19th, 2020. Two from Belmont Park, one from Woodbine on Woodbine Mile Saturday. It actually will be the Woodbine Mile, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's start off with the racing from Belmont Park. Two races, races 4 and 5. You can connect them in a daily double if you so choose, culminating with race number 5, which is the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks Invitational. We'll start off with race number 4, though. 6 furlongs on the main track. These are $16,000 claimers. Non-winners of 2 lifetime is the condition. Typically, when I look at a race like this, I want to look for horses that are not exposed at the level, actually possess a little bit of tactical ability, because typically these low-level claimers, especially the ones in a condition like this, non-winners of 2 lifetime, they don't like to pass one another. So someone who can be forwardly placed throughout, I think, is at a tremendous advantage, if not outright on the lead. I don't expect a horse like the number 2 in here to be on the lead. That's Justice of War going out for Linda Rice. But I don't expect him to be that far back. I'm envisioning a trip very similar to the one we saw when he broke his maiden at Aqueduct 2 starts back. That was all the way back on February 1st. This is a horse who very clearly has had a number of physical issues. But he also, at one point, was highly thought of. I mean, they paid up more than $500,000 for this horse at one time. Now you can have him for $16,000. He comes back as a new gelding. I just like the fact that this is a horse who can be close to the pace throughout, and I don't think he's exposed at this level yet, where many of the other runners in this spot, they are. There's also a nice little fact if you're looking for some sort of a statistic to hang your hat on regarding Linda Rice with this sort of runner. Over the past year in dirt sprints, first after a 180-day layoff or greater, 6 for 21, 81% of the runners in the money with a 330 ROI. He's 4-1 on the morning line. I'll go with the number 2, Justice of War, in the 4th at Belmont. We move on to race number 5, again, the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks Invitational. It is a small field, only 5 signed on. You have a European import for Arnaud Delacour. You have the Saratoga Oaks winner and Antoinette from the far outside for Belmont. I'm most intrigued with another sort of shipper. Horse coming from Southern California via France. That is the number 4, Neige Blanche. Going out for Leonard Powell. Jose Lezcano has the mount. This horse debuted here in the States in the Del Mar Oaks Invitational last month. Out at, the Del Mar Oaks, not the Invitational. Out at Del Mar at the end of August. This was a horse who was highly thought of. Came in, was bet down to 7-1 odds. I think, unfortunately for backers, probably just got a little bit exposed to American running for the first time, where it was far from a wild pace, but I think it was faster than what she's been accustomed to seeing over in France. And maybe she was just a little bit too far out of it, coming off the layoff, a lot of things going against her, and I've brought it up in the past. Del Mar can be a little bit of a quirky kind of track for horses, especially the turf course. Some take to it and some don't. Belmont Park, it's a bit of a blanket statement, but most horses get over the turf at Belmont without any sort of issue. I think Neige Blanche stretching out to 1.25 miles from the 1 1/8 with a start under her belt is really going to benefit. And again, in a race where there aren't many runners, there should be a reasonable pace signed on. I feel like Antoinette is going to go, but it's not like we're going to have a strung out field. It doesn't seem that way anyway. I think Neige Blanche, this distance, is going to become a great equalizer, and at 5-1 in a short field, I think she's at least worth giving a look if you're not sold on the shorter prices, and that includes the proper shipper coming over here for Arnaud Delacour's barn, that being Magic Attitude, who is the even money morning line favorite. So for me, in the Belmont Oaks Invitational, I'm going to go with the number 4, Neige Blanche, at 5-1. Now we go north of the border to Woodbine. Race number 9, it's the Grade 1 Woodbine Mile. You can see this race 5 o'clock Eastern on NBCSN. I will be there in conjunction with the folks from TVG. I won't actually be at Woodbine, unfortunately. I'll be here, my humble abode. But you'll be able to see us there 5 to 6 on Saturday, and then 4 to 6 on Sunday afternoon. We'll also have a couple of 2-year-old win-in-your-in races for the Breeders' Cup. Race number 9, though, on Saturday is the Rico Woodbine Mile, and to me, there is only one horse I'm interested in this race. And when I say it that way, it's strictly from a betting standpoint. I think there are very talented runners in here. I think War of Will, I've made it clear. I'm a huge, huge fan of this horse. He's been one of my favorites over the past 2 years. I don't love the race he's coming out of in the Makers 46 mile. I just feel like I think it's going to continue to prove to be a negative key race. I said it at the time. I have no reason to think otherwise at this point. I think people are going to look at the most intriguing runner in the field, Cheryl Spite, the number 3 horse, 8-1 on the morning line. Unexposed, has been fantastic in both lifetime starts, smashing victories, one going short on turf, one going long on synth. Horse looks like he can do anything. 8-1 in the morning line's a pipe dream. This horse is going to get pounded at the windows because of the hype that has been sort of surrounding this runner. The only horse I am interested in betting, and I hope the morning line is accurate, I think there's even a chance with the presence of War of Will, with the presence of Cheryl's Spite, with the presence of Starship Jubilee. I'm hopeful the number 1 March to the Arch is at least the 5-2 morning line that he has been assigned, if not higher, maybe into that 3-1 range, because his King Eddie, in his most recent start on August 15th, was absolutely spectacular. And I understand he had a relatively good trip in the grand scheme of things, but then you do a little bit more of a deep dive. He's the only horse who made up any ground in that race. The pace was very pedestrian early on, and the way that he finished, this is a horse who has always been good, but he's never been a superstar, and he's never had that sort of killer instinct. He showed a different gear in the King Edward in his most recent start, and I can't help but notice he's a perfect 2 for 2 at Woodbine, and this was the first time he was allowed to go a one-turn race, one-turn configuration throughout his entire 23-race career. That was the first time he had gone one turn. Some horses love it, some horses hate it. The long stretch at Woodbine, I think, works to this horse's advantage. You take a look, the final 3 quarter miles of that 1 mile race in his most recent start, if you believe incremental fractions from a product like DRF Formulator, 22.33, 22.50, 22.60. This horse absolutely flew home. And if that is a sign of things to come, I don't think there's anyone in the race who will be able to hold him off down that deep Woodbine stretch. He's 5-2 on the morning line. He's my play of the day on Saturday. The number 1 March to the Arch. I think he wins the Woodbine Mile. That's race number 9 at Woodbine on Saturday afternoon. Again, you can catch that race on NBCSN. We'll be on from 5 to 6. And then on Sunday from 4 to 6, you get a couple of 2-year-old win and you're in races for the Breeders' Cup on Sunday afternoon. If you want to see prior videos from racingpicks.com, if you want to see all sorts of great written analysis, written content from myself, Andrew Champagne, Peter Thomas Fornatel, among others, make sure you are subscribed over on racingpicks.com. All you need to do is enter your email address. It's free. There is no purchase necessary. Great analysis, great deals for legal ADWs here in the United States, all that and more over on racingpicks.com.